So this is the lesson for Hesitation Blues, and although I recorded it on a 12-string guitar, tuned standard tuning but several steps lower, I will teach the lesson on a regular 6-string guitar in standard tuning. So here are my E's. The reason why I recorded it on the 12-string, it suited my voice better. The key of C, it's the key where the 4 chord, the F, is lower than the 1 chord. And so if you sing the first part high, the next parts are easier because they are sung lower. That's the reason why I did it on 12-string, and it sounds good. Anyway, it sounds good on the 6-string also, and I even did it on ukulele, so it's one of my favorite songs. So let's start with the introduction, which is played very freely. So it's a minor chord, and I do my fingers like that to get a little rippling effect. Sliding with the pinky up to the 5th fret, and then middle, index, middle, index. 2 notes the same like the 5th fret and the 1st fret. They're the same, but they have a different color. Hammer on the 2nd fret, 3rd string. Notice the muting by placing my finger on the string after I picked it, the 2nd string. Then that bend is more prominent. And you can do several kinds of bends, up and down, or and that long hammer on E7. And notice I don't keep my fingers fretted, so the 2nd fret, 3rd string is only hit and then released. That A minor again. And then we're starting, when you play that 2nd fret, 3rd string, with the rhythm and a tempo. I play it slowly. So it's switching between the A minor and the E7. The pinky is doing the work here. And in the middle of the 2nd beat of the 1st measure, of the introduction, there you change to the E chord. And notice that the upstrokes are played very strongly, so that you hear the strings above also. My 4th string also rings. And here you can do a hammer on also. That 2nd bar of the 2nd measure. Notice also the right hand muting. Here. Also here. I don't want... Then it loses its character. I'm resting my hand while I pick those single string rods. C7 and then to the F. notice again that all that muting. And that bend is going into the next beat. Simple C, and Pinky's doing all the work again. Double bass there in the 9th measure when we're going to the G. And I pick with 2 fingers. I want that 2nd string also to get a fuller sound. And the reason well, it's sort of a habit of me, the reason why I use 2 fingers is you get more control than a brush. And the 2nd string will ring more if you pick it individually. And that 3rd string will ring also. And notice the muting. You could go further and do another double bass when you're going to the G7. But I sometimes don't do it and do it like that. And then in the 10th measure we go into a diminished chord. So again I'm rippling. There's a slight difference with only now that turnaround in the 11th measure. I use very slightly ghost notes there. It is tapped out like this. Between the 2nd beat and the 3rd beat, I might slightly touch the 3rd string open. You can hear it barely, but it helps with the timing. Same when you go from the 3rd to the 4th beat. And here we have again that double bass. And this one I mute. Again, also in the 9th measure I did the same. And then we go into the verse, which is practically the same as the introduction. So I'll sing it softly, and so you can hear where the words fit more or less. Woke up this morning about 4:30. Hesitation news was knocking on my door. I said, how long do I have to wait? And in the 12th string I was able to sing I woke up this morning at 4:30. It doesn't fit with this kind of tuning, well, position, and that's why I chose the 12th string. Anyway, so it's the same, the first part is the same. Hesitation was knocking on my door. I said, I should know also the placement of the words is important, because if you're a bit late, woke up this morning about 4:30, the blues was knocking on my door, then you see you have to be on time there so that the guitar arrangement and the vocals fit rhythmically, and I think that's very important, and a lot of people don't pay too much attention to that, and it doesn't sound great then. I woke up this morning about 4:30. The hesitation blues was knocking on my door. I said, how long do I have to? You can do a double bass there at the 8/8 measure. 17. How long do I have to? There's no vocals there, so you can do something of interest. So, do I have to wait? And then slide up to the 5th fret. Again, I'm doing that middle for the 1st string and the index for the 2nd string. And the 3rd string also is played by the index. And I pick only once that pull off. Can I get it now? Must I hesitate? And that 22nd measure, this one we've seen before. F. So F, and in the 2nd beat, I'm moving my temp. In this case, I think the temp wrap is very useful. And then we're going to a straight G chord. C, resolving C. Now I use not many variations while in the verse, and in bar 25 the only variation I do there is in verse 2. I got hesitation stockings, hesitation shoes, Lordy oh my, I got those hesitation blues. I said how long do I have to wait? And here's the variation. And that thing is really, that's Blind Lemon Jefferson, of course. Listen to his Bad Luck Blues and you'll hear this riff, well, the whole time. So, with pinky and 3rd finger, let it ring into the next beat and then pick it up. And then we're walking into our G7. Can I get it now? Adding the pinky to the 3rd fret 4th string. Must I hesitate? And then we go into the solo. And well, it's simply the same thing, but with a different A minor chord. Instead of the 1st position, we go into the 7th fret with our 3rd finger and barring the 5th fret 1st 3 strings. So let's play that slowly. And I'll have to move a little bit of the paperwork here. So. So again, we're sliding up, and in the middle of the 2nd beat of the 31st measure, I'm going to my E. Sliding up, just keep your 3rd finger of the E chord fretted, and slide it to the 7th fret. And then we have that diminished chord again. One more time. F. A variation on. Notice how I keep the notes short by placing my picking fingers on the strings before I pick the next note. I've seen that before. Again, that diminished chord, and instead of going down, we're going up. Sorry. Notice how I changed the turnaround slightly by hanging around in that C7. So. Then we have a second solo, which starts with the same as the bars 1 and 4, and maybe you can add a little hammer on when you're playing the D, the E chord. Always there's opportunity to do a hammer on. And a hit like that. And here we're going different. We're going to use another F7, and it is your D7 position moved up to the 5th fret, and the index is added to the 3rd fret, 4th string. And we have another F chord, F7. So bar 43. It's like that. Picking pattern is thumb, index, thumb, thumb, middle, index, thumb. And then we're going to bar 45. So the C, and when you play that 3rd beat, keep your finger, your pinky on the 3rd string, sorry, the 1st string, 3rd fret. And when you play the 4th beat bass, you simply slide up. Don't pick it, not necessary. It will not sound to the 7th fret as I indicated, but the slide is there. A7 A chord like this, bar, the 1st 4 strings, add the 2nd finger to the 3rd string and pinky to the 7th fret. Thumb, thumb. 2nd beat is 2 thumbs. And that is picked with the 2 fingers held together. And then we have a D7, which is your C7, and you move the outer fingers to the 1st and the 3rd string, and you have a C7 moved up 2 frets. It's a D7. Same picking pattern as bar 44, thumb, index, stamp, stamp, middle, index, stamp. You get a little bounce in there. And then we go into a G7, which again is our D7 moved up to the 7th fret and the index added to the 4th string, 5th fret. And again the same picking pattern. And a long C. Alright, I'll play that part from bar 43 slowly. Now in the verses with vocals I do 2 variations, and in the 3rd verse where we have I've Never Been to Heaven, I use the solo, the first solo, or the first part anyway, to do the vocalizing. So well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been told St. Peter learned the angels how to jelly roll. I said, how long? So I'm sliding up. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been told St. Peter learned the angels how to jelly roll. Like that. And sometimes I didn't do it in the 12-string version. I would do a bit of a double time there. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been told St. Peter learned the angels how to jelly roll. I said, how long? Then we go to straight time again. How to jelly roll, which fits really the words there. And then we have the infamous If the River Was Whiskey. That verse I did with the tremolo brush. And if you really want to learn a cool song with that thing and get a little practice, a useful practice, then check out my free lesson called Crow Jane in the version by Carl Martin. He's also on YouTube, so you can find that version as well. And he uses the tremolo brush, well, practically the whole song, so that's good practice. What I do is the middle finger goes up and down, like that. And again I rock between the A minor and the E7. And don't worry about the timing. If you check out the song, the performance video, you will see that I really stretch the words. If the river was whiskey and I was a bird, I dive to the bottom and I'll never come up. I said, how long do I have to run? It's too high, and so on. The cool thing, if you're not only able to do the tremolo brush, but the side of your finger is really brushing like that. Not like that, not nail. It's more flesh than nail. And the cool thing is, of course, if you can able to play bass strings at the beginning of each phrase. If the river was whiskey and I was dead, I dive to the bottom and I never come up. I said, how long do I have to wait? And so on. So that was the main thing, I think. How did I end it? Well, it's not in a tab, but I think you should find your own endings. But how did I do it? So when I was done with singing, I simply played the 6 strings and end with a C9 chord. 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3. And if you're not able to do the temp rap for 2 bass strings, then you can use only your middle second finger to play the 6th string or the 5th string, like that, or both strings, but in between. Very handy if you know how. So that's pretty much it for Hesitation Blues. Have fun with it.